video, we're going to talk about Google Ads upload offline conversions and how to upload conversions to Google Ads using the API or scheduling an upload or manually uploading, depending on what you choose you would prefer to do to get sales that are occurring not through your website. So let's say you're running an e-commerce website, not all the sales go through your shopping cart, some go through the phone and then punching it through a virtual terminal, credit card terminal that the salesperson has on their end. Those sales can go back to Google Ads through this offline conversion tracking process. Or if you're doing lead generation, all of your sales can go into Google Ads, of course, because through Google Ads, what by default you can do is only track if a phone call or a contact form comes in, not if the sale comes in. Or if that, and with that, you're optimizing for shitty quality leads, not leads that turn into sales. So this offline conversion tracking process will essentially usually triple the amount of money you can make with your account long term if more than 10% of your sales do not occur through a shopping cart. Why? Because you're getting so much more quality data into your ad account. The algorithm that decides where your ads run, whether it shows up for a certain prospect or not shows up for a prospect in the future, all comes down to the data. The better quality data you have coming into your ad account, the better your results are going to be. You put crap quality data in, you'll get crap quality results out. If you're going to invest all this money into Google ad spend, why not get the full value from it by getting the most data into your account? People that want quick results, get rich quick, they aren't going to do it. You are going to do it. You're going to have the most data coming into your account, and Google's going to know how to get you in front of the best customers that are the most profitable for you the best. And then you're going to receive the other half of the value of your ad spend, which is not to provide now sales, but to provide future sales, because you're narrowing down the exact part of your market that's worth going after with ads and spending your ad money on in the future. So with that said, if you're going to upload, so essentially what happens is when somebody clicks on an ad on Google, you have up to 90 days to upload a sale or sales event or that sales revenue into your ad account to tell Google that a sale occurred, if it occurred, okay? And so you've got to, what they call upload your offline conversions to your account through the offline conversion tracking process. To do that, there's some minimum key information that Google is looking for about that customer, about that sale that occurred offline per se, i.e. not through a shopping cart, in order for you to be able to get it back into your account and then see where that sales came from on the keyword level, the campaign level, the ad level, the gender level, the age level, the time of the day level, the day of the week level, the state level, on and on and on and on and on and on and on. This is where the really good tripling plus of your results come from if you get the full amount of purchase data into your account, long term anyway. And so if you're going to take my advice and do this, and more than 10% of your sales don't occur through a shopping cart so that the algorithm knows how to steer your ads, it wants to get you the results. Will you give it the data to get you the results? I usually are going to once a month, because we usually just upload sales manually, because it's just easier, practically speaking. But once a month we'll upload all the sales that occurred that previous month, and of each customer that came in that we want to upload to our account, there's 5 pieces of information Google wants from us to identify that customer inside Google's system, so they can say, oh, I know who you're talking about. It was this person who searched for this on this date, and they clicked on this ad and whatever. So you can see it inside your Google Ads account and optimize based upon it, manually based upon adjustments you make, as well as the algorithm that's constantly trying to get you more results on an ongoing basis. Those pieces of information they want to know about your customers to do this this upload of offline conversions to your account is conversion name, conversion time, conversion value, conversion currency, and GCLID. Conversion name, this actually just comes down to the goal that you set up in your ads account to track the offline purchases. What I do right away, once we know we're going to import offline sales that don't occur through our shopping cart back into our ad account, we're going to set up an offline conversion goal, or actually we set up 2 goals, one for sales that occur through a phone call and then eventually turn into a sale within 90 days, and another goal, conversion goal, for form fills that eventually within the next 90 days turned into a sale. so that when we import data back into Google, the conversion event shows up under these goals. That's how it essentially works. And what they want you to do when you upload the customer data is to know the conversion goal that the data should show up under. So we'll also always have conversion goals set up for shopping cart purchases, phone calls by themselves, contact forms by themselves, live chat events by themselves, and then set up separate goals for these offline conversions. So if the offline conversion came in and we set up one for offline conversions that came in through a phone call, then we'll say the name of the goal we set up to track that. It'll be like offline conversion dash phone call or whatever. So the name of the goal itself is the one piece of information that Google wants given back to them. The second is the conversion time, the day, the hour, the minute that the lead came in, which is pretty easy to do. And you don't have to get it exactly right, but they want to know kind of what time it came in. And that's just the time that the lead came in. The time and the date, the form lead was generated or the phone call came in. And if you're using CallRail, what you need to do just to enable this in the first place, CallRail has the time and the date. You can listen to the call recording, find out the customer that came in and the call recording that matches up with it, then the date and the time's there. Of course, on the form leads, you can go through all your form leads in the last month, find that customer's name and the email that, originated that lead, or where the lead came in originally, the form lead came in your inbox initially, and then the date and the time of that email there goes to satisfy this conversion time element or piece of information Google wants to know about that sale that occurred, if you will, to identify it inside their system. And then the other couple of things, which are not mandatory but are optional, are conversion value. So if you want to upload not just that a sale occurred, but how much the sale was, you upload the sale amount under conversion value. If you have a B2B business, let's say, and most of the sales don't occur within the first 90 days, you can, instead of importing sales revenue, you can import the fact that a lead was just qualified. So the algorithm that Google has optimizes for qualified leads versus just leads in general. And then what I do in that event is I score the lead between 1 and 10, and the conversion value is going to be the score of that lead, so that eventually I can optimize for not just qualified leads, but the most qualified leads, which is one step away from optimizing from the sales revenue and the ROI that a keyword, an ad, or whatever produced inside of our ad account. So that's what conversion value is. Again, and that's optional. You don't have to have a value, even though you normally would want to use it to get the most out of the offline conversion tracking process. You also have conversion currency. Of course, that's just like USD or AUD or CAD or whatever your currency is, abbreviated out. That's also optional. And then GCLID, which is really the most important one of all. You can get the conversion time messed up, not even close to where it needs to be. If you get the conversion name right and the GCLID right, things will work, basically speaking. GCLID stands for Google Click ID. Now, Google Click ID, the best analogy that I can give you for that is, it's like a serial number that Google gives every single ad clicker in their system gets. So in other words, every single person who goes to Google and searches for something, they get a Google Click ID assigned to them by Google, and then they database that on their server. When somebody gets to your site and turns into a lead, you grab that Google Click ID, and you give it one. They turn into a sale. You give that Google Click Back ID to Google. They know which user you're talking about. And the way that you get the Google Click ID is you use a CallRail account. So that if they call in, the Google Click ID is inside your CallRail account. If they fill out a form, that Google Click ID is going to be, if you set up a hidden form field on your form, to grab the Google Click ID from the URL bar, because after they click on the ad, it'll be at the end of the URL on the user's web browser, and when you submit the form, it'll look for the GCLID in the end of the URL, and then grab it, and then of course that's how you get the Google Click ID that way. Another easier way to do it is if you're using CallRail and you're using form tracking, it'll grab every single form lead on your site and the GCLID from each form lead if it's there, if it came from an ad click, so that you can get your GCLID from CallRail as well, which we often do. And so anyway, that's how you get the Google Click ID. And then of course, when you get a sale, you just have to match up the customer with the form lead that came in or the phone call that came in, grab the GCLID in CallRail, and then that's what you're going to use to pass back to Google for Google to recognize that a sale occurred or a qualified lead event occurred, so you can then have that show up inside your Google Ads so you can optimize off of it later on. So you can use, like I mentioned at the start of this video, to upload your offline conversions, a manual spreadsheet. You can upload like a Microsoft Excel sheet if you wanted to. You can also upload a Google sheet. It's under conversions, and then under upload, you upload that sheet that has this information on it. You can also schedule an upload via a Google sheet itself or an FTP upload. And so, because some of you guys aren't going to, I admit, I'd get better results instead of uploading my sales that I get offline once a month to my ad account, that I upload them in real time. So in other words, what you can do is you can set up a Google sheet, okay? You can have your sales staff, when they make a sale, they input into this pre-designated sales sheet, or Google sheet, the customer data, and you can program it via the uploads menu in your Google Ads account to check this Google sheet every hour for any new entries on this Google sheet, and if it's there, it'll automatically pass that sales event into your Google Ads account, so you can see that sale in your keywords menu and see what keyword produced it originally, time of the day, day of the week, and so on and so forth, like we were talking about before. So that's one way you can upload your conversions. You don't have to manually go back once a month like we're doing most of the time, uploading the sheet manually to them. Using a Google sheet that through the uploads menu in your Google Ads account, set up a schedule to check that Google sheet on a regular basis. Similar to that, by the way, in order to make this as streamlined as possible, if you are going to go the Google Sheet route, your call rail that picks up the Google Click ID and your unbounce account, if you're using an unbounce account, let's say for your landing pages, which we usually use for landing pages, and let's say your unbounce account on your forms, you're using that hidden form field to pick up the Google Click ID and all that. What we're going to do, if we want to automate this, is we're going to take the call rail information and the information from unbounce, have it go to a Zapier account, and then use Zapier to then import the Google Click ID into a Google Sheet, which the Google Sheet will have the GCLID of every form lead that comes in and every phone call that comes in just sitting there on the sheet. But then, if you do that, at that point, all you got to do is tell your sales staff if a sale occurs, all you have to do is go to this pre-designated sheet, find the lead that ultimately purchased, and under conversion name, have a drop down so they can't screw it up, where if it was a sale, they take the drop down for the column that's pre-designated for conversion name and to select what the conversion name is, either phone or either the goal name that you have set up for offline sales occurring through phone calls or offline sales occurring through form fills. And then once that field that final field for conversion name is updated, when Google, through your schedule that you set up through Google Ads, checks this sheet for new entries, it will only fire if this conversion name field is filled in. So your in other words, your sales staff only need to fill in the conversion name column for you, and if it's filled out, once Google checks the sheet once an hour, if it's filled out, it fires an event to Google. If it isn't, it won't fire an event, even though a new record is created because a leak has come in, if you follow me. So that way, they don't have to know how to upload a Google Click ID or anything like that, or whatnot there. And actually, in that kind of an event, or that type of setup, you would tell them, oh, there's a drop down here, but if your sale occurs, you need to go under the conversion name, under that lead in this Google Sheet, and then indicate if it was a form lead or a phone call. There's only two options there. Once they select that, then that green lights Google the next time they check the sheet to upload that person to Google Ads as a sale, and then also update the conversion value column, which has the sale amount. So basically, once the sale occurs, they spend 60 seconds updating this pre-designated Google sheet that Google checks once an hour to see if the sales occurred in the last hour. They update the conversion name column and the conversion value column, and then boom, all that information within the next hour goes to Google Ads. The algorithm sees it, and then right away they can react with the extra information given, and then in the future, another person who looks like the person who just bought, if they were a whale, you know, that ad should show up for people like them from now on every single time versus, you know, like before it may have only showed up for a person like that some of the time if, you know, it's not too competitive and it doesn't cost too much per click to show up in that spot, if you will. This is how this is why the data, having more data gets you more results, because there's going to be some places on Google it costs $10 a click to show up for, and there's other places that cost $1 a click. Where it costs $10 a click, your ROI there might be 20 times as good as the $1 a click areas. What you want to do is you don't want to be emotional about your decisions about what you're paying for a click on Google. You just want to know what the value is of each person and each spot on Google you can show up at, feeding the system with the sales that you do get, and then in the places where it makes sense ROI-wise to show up, you show up, and where it doesn't, you don't. And the cost per click is irrelevant. It's purely down to, does a particular area on Google get an ROI or does it not? And the only way Google can do that for you and scale your results by having better and better awareness where you should show up and where you shouldn't is if you feed in the right amount of data and the data's quality and so forth. And you get a system like this Google Sheet system like I told you to set up, and tell your salespeople to update that sheet and make sure they're updating it on an ongoing basis so the Google system gets the most up-to-date data about what worked and what hasn't worked for your company by means and through Google Ads. With all that said, you can also do an FTP schedule. Basically, also through their API system, you could actually, if you had like an intermediary software where you send data, if you will, and then through the Google Ads API, you could send conversion data to Google Ads. You could send, as long as the same information is sent, you could send it through the Google Ads API. You can also do it through FTP as well. FTP is different than an API or Google Ads API. Just send the conversion data, the offline sales conversion data to Google Ads is just a different way to do it. It's a different protocol for sending data to Google Ads. Send the same data. So really you have 4 options. You can use the API, Google Ads API to send this conversion data to Google. You can use FTP, which if you're going to use FTP, you set that to the uploads menu. You can use Google Sheets, which you're going to determine that on the uploads menu on Google Ads, or you can manually upload a spreadsheet, like a Google, Microsoft Excel sheet to Google Ads, and have that be your method of getting these offline sales once they occur to Google Ads, so the Google Ads algorithm can optimize your ads at the maximum level possible. The more data you build up in your account, the more valuable your account will be, because it will be more. You'll have a bigger and bigger edge on your competition, who likely doesn't do any kind of upload of offline sales to their account, so that you can snipe off people that are highly valuable that they don't know are of such value, and to give them all the shitty people that they don't know are of such value as well. It gives you a level of awareness that they don't have effectively. So, you know, basically, and then, because ultimately, let's say, to sum this up before I wrap this up as well, if you're bidding on the word red shoes, and most people think that either show up for red shoes or you don't. It's not like that at all anymore. Reality is, people searching for red shoes, Google's sub-segmenting those people out into 10,000 subcategories. What they searched for before, how old they are, what time of the day they're searching. And they look at the people who convert versus don't convert. From all the people who've searched for red shoes in the past, who have clicked on an ad in the past. Okay? And then with that, there's micro nuances in like the type of, you know, one person's website and what it converts for under the people who search for red shoes, and what a different people converts at for a search under red shoes. And ultimately, they're trying to identify when an ad should show up at all, because the person searching for red shoes actually does want to buy red shoes. Otherwise, it won't show any ad at all, frankly. But beyond that, it's trying to figure out, of the 4 ad spots on Google, which of the like 8 to 10 ads who want to fight their way into those top 4 spots should be there. And they're going to judge that based upon click-through rate and then conversion rate on the clicks that you get, because that indicates to the Google that that particular type of user gets a good experience from the ad that's shown there. So when you can show Google what customers that they've shown your ad in front of in the past that turned into a sale versus not turned into a sale, they ultimately understand, like the 68% of the time that people search for red shoes that you should have your ad actually show up, and then the other, 32% where it shouldn't show up at all, if you will. And it takes years of data to really build up for Google's algorithm to have a really strong awareness as to what precise a group of people that your ad should show up for and who it shouldn't show up for. And if you start today and at least you're breaking even with your ads, you're not losing money ROI wise, and you keep with it 3 years from now, 5 years from now, when you've built up a couple $1 million worth of sales data in your account, it's going to work extremely well, because it pretty well knows exactly who your customer is at that point in time. So your goal is to, with Google Ads, is to get to break even as quick as possible, so you stay in the game. But from there, even if you don't get the return you don't want today, it's fine, because eventually you build up enough sales data, it has to get good. The ROI has to get good. It's just going to take a little bit of time for the algorithm to build up enough data about your website, your customers, to get you the great results. But if you stick with it, it's inevitable. It's literally inevitable. You can't expect all that up front, because there's people that buy from you, there's people that don't buy. And they just got to figure out who and what it is. And for you to expect them to know right away is silly, because there's too many micro nuances in your space, like in terms of a cheap buyer who only wants to buy on price, people who are serious about buying, like what their behaviors are like before they make that search that you want to show up for. Like, have they went to multiple websites in the niche, or have they did research about the niche, whatever. And they study all that stuff to identify if your ad should show up or should it not. So, and then people just want to get rich right away, so if in 3 months they don't get rich, they say Google Ads doesn't work. But really, if they would have charted out the results over time, they would have saw that they will get rich, but they don't think that far out. The average typical growth rate in an account, even if you got this sales data flowing into your account right, might be like 10% a month. So if you're talking about a 3-month basis, getting a 30% increase in results doesn't sound like nothing. But if you chart that out 5 years from now, you have 10 times the results you had now. You're making a few $1 million a year. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you're in a space that's low competition, high demand, you can get rich quick. If you're in a highly competitive space with nothing particularly that competitive in your space in terms of your offer, it's going to be a long slog of building up data in your account so you do have your edge. You can't, if it was just as easy to show up and then offer what everybody else can get from China at the same price as everybody else can get from China and do nothing different, why isn't it somebody else wouldn't already taken your opportunity on Google Ads already? And the reality is they have and they are. So if you're going to make it work with everybody knowing what Google Ads is in your space, you're going to have to find an edge. Well, your data is your major in. Even if you change nothing else about your business, if you have more data and build up more data in your account than them, you're going to win. I guarantee you will win. So if it's working for them, it'll work for you. It's just a matter of when, not if. And just where most people, as a final note, they go wrong is they see their big competitor spending all this money, and then they try it, and if they're not instantly getting rich like the competitor, they say, I don't know what to do. I don't know how they're making it work. Reality is they've been advertising for like 5 years already. And here you are in 60 days thinking you're going to take away what this guy spent 5 years building up. It's not that easy. And in fact, when you're advertising for 5 years, you're not going to be wanting the little pissants who started up an ad account 30 days ago to take your customers away. You don't want it to be like that. It just sucks when you start out for yourself, but once you get over that hump, particularly when you just get past break even in terms of your costs, it's all downhill slide, and it just keeps compounding in terms of the results. And eventually, 90% of people won't be able to compete with you in your space because they all want quick results. They all think it's a switch where they just come in, spend 15 minutes, their ads are on, oh, I'm going to get rich instantly. And they don't, and then, oh, it doesn't work. Google Ads is a scam. And then you just laugh at them, and you're the one making the millions, and they're just basically too ignorant to know any better, effectively. Or if you want to say arrogant, you could. Some, for different people, it's different things, but that is, in a nutshell, why you want to also spend the time and the trouble to do this. Most people that I tell this to, they're going to say, oh, fuck it. I'm not going to waste my time with all this bullshit. Conversion data, schmersion data. If you want it to work, do it. When you've been advertising for 3 to 6 months already and you aren't getting the ROI you want, you're going to be happy you started doing it today. Because at least if you spent 6 months advertising and you're not quite getting the results you want, at least you have something to act on. You can say, okay, well, this is the part of your account that got the results. Let's weed out this other part. Now you're profitable. Versus doing what everybody else does is they get in 6 months and they say it doesn't work, and then they say they give up. Because ultimately, they don't have nowhere to go with it, ultimately. So anyway, with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It was useful for you. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate giving the video a like, and consider subscribing, as I have a ton of other content on this channel about how to make money with ads on Google, Facebook, and everything else in terms of online advertising. Coming from somebody who does nothing else besides ad strategy all day long for our clients, most of the content about online advertising you find on YouTube is by full-time YouTubers who aren't managing shit for anybody. And they're talking out their ass. It's all speculation. If you're going to pay attention to somebody, want to really know what works to make money with ads, this is the channel you want to subscribe to. And furthermore, if you like the channel, I also have a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog that has a lot of visuals. This channel don't have so much with the visual side, but you have plenty of that if you go to my blog and you like that kind of material as well. If you like the channel, you'll like the blog. I also have a column over at entrepreneur.com if you want to check that out as well. If you have any questions, by the way, about anything I covered today or any ad-related question, you can always leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time or within 24 hours more likely. I love to be able to give back to my viewers as just a way of saying thank you for helping the channel grow. I'm more than happy to help out. With that said, if you are looking for somebody to just take the reins on your account, want to get results, this is exactly what I do for clients. We guarantee results on your accounts as well. That is, we can get you more sales and profits from your ads the way that you have them now before we take a fee. We're the only agency out there that does anything like that. The only catch is you've got to have something that's worth marketing in the first place, and we know we can get great results on. But if you want to see how much sales results I could get for you, just simply reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be more than happy to give you a free quick analysis of what you have and see what's possible with it, and if we can work together. If you aren't looking to work with an ad agency, I understand that. Or if we worked in your space before, you should use the ad templates we've already developed for your market if we worked in your market. I've worked in 100 plus markets so far in the last 10 years of running Guaranteed PPC. If we worked in your market, you can use all the ads, landing page templates, campaign templates, all of it that we developed in your market, that we're using in a different geographic market, different country, whatever, for your own stuff, and in like 3 months get the same results we had to spend years developing. We sell that for a one-time cost, and we can tell you what results you would get with it up front before you used it or paid for it. So if you're interested in that, you should also reach out. We got people using these templates to start other businesses. Starting a business, starting from the winning campaign sales funnel that works for that market, that's like starting a business on training wheels on easy mode. And we've got people selling leads using these templates. We've got people starting e-commerce businesses when they were looking to get into it and they wanted to have a sure bet. And so with that, if you're interested in that type of thing, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'll tell you what we have available. But with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.